I'm Derek Thomas with Thomas Landscapes, and this year I'm going to be showing you some practical money-saving tips for decking the halls this holiday season. The thing about holiday decorating is sometimes Mother Nature has done it for you, like with these nandina berries. These berries are decked out. The foliage is nice, rich green. The berries are red. It's getting you in the holiday season. But what about if the rest of your home isn't quite there? What I'm going to be showing you today is how to get the front of your house put up for the season. We've got things like miniature trees, because what we're going to basically be doing today is taking the front of this house where they've got some decorative canisters, and we're going to be decorating out those canisters and the front windows for the holidays. You've got wonderful holly that's going to add some pop to the landscape, and if you're on a budget, there's really great ornaments that are pre-made that you can use, or if you're a little bit more adventurous, take a little walk into the woods. These pine cones were found while foraging in the woods. We've painted them, spray painted them silver, and we're going to be using those and incorporating them into our design today. One of the challenges when decorating is you have to get rid of anything that's not holiday-like, because you are creating the first thing that people are going to see. When guests come to your house this holiday season, it's going to be the first thing that they're going to see. It's going to be your business card. It's going to be your welcome mat. So things like this mandevilla vine, although they may still look good, it's time to get them off of these protective wrought iron, and let's talk about what we're going to do to decorate this out. So we want to just physically remove all this vining, and you know, a pair of scissors will help you along the way there, but you can go ahead and take all that vine off of the windows, because ultimately what we're going to be doing is decorating the windows as your holiday welcome mat. So one of the great design elements of these Italianate canisters is that they're open, so that, you know, it doesn't really have a lot of rust or anything. But for our holiday decor, we don't want them falling through, and we want them to have a nice base. So what we're going to do is we're going to take pre-wrapped rows of white pine garland, and we're going to just take that and layer it in here, because what that's going to do is it's going to give us the ability to put our containers in here without having the appearance of them being sitting on a shelf. They're going to look like they're floating in a sea of greens, and it's going to be fabulous. We've also gone through and harvested some holly bough, and what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to use that to also create my nest, if you will, so that as we're decorating, and we're putting this with the decorative side down, because as people look up, what they're going to be seeing is this, not the back sides of the holly. And we're just about ready to sit our plants in there. One of the things that we're going to be doing is using these hollies. These hollies are alive. So when we use them in our decor, what we can do is we can actually replant these hollies when the holidays are done. And we're going to use these greens as a base around the pot of the hollies when we get them up in our canisters. That way, there's going to be less of a visible planter in our containers. So we've got our greens in place. The sustainable hollies are there, they're live, and after the holiday you're going to be able to plant those. We've got our holiday tree, it's secured. We've got the greens here, and the only thing left to do is to add a little bit of that holiday sparkle. So at this point we're adding the last of the sparkle. And a lot of people use lights when they're decorating their holiday decor. This is a completely green holiday decor because we have used absolutely not one light. It's going to look just as great in the daytime, and if you want to show it off at night, you can add spotlights to your landscape. when you're decorating for the holidays and you have some leftover ornaments like we do from what we did on our canisters, I'm going to go ahead and use those ornaments for my wreath. And you know, when you're decorating in the holidays, think about mixing together colors that maybe you normally wouldn't, because holiday decor is not one-sided. You can absolutely add a lot of colors that you may not normally think about putting together, and you end up with a wonderful, colorful, holiday-themed display. And we're going to put this up on our door. One of the nice things about using fresh greens is that you get that great smell. My mittens smell wonderful. Now, when you're using fresh greens, you have to keep in mind that you're going to have a little bit less of a lifespan than you would if you had artificial greens. But if the day should get to be too hot, you can always spritz it with a little bit of water to keep those greens fresh. And these should last right through December 25th and into the new year. So we're wrapping craft ribbon around the columns. And there's a little bit of disparity here, but that's okay, because you know, you want to make sure that your numbers are visible so that when your guests come, they know where you live. The ribbon that we're using has a wire that goes along both sides of the outside. And that's a good thing, because what it's going to help to do is, as you wrap it around the columns and I just use a regular staple gun, it helps to keep it taut, and the ribbon kind of gives it a the wire rather gives it a direction. When you're using craft ribbon, the cost can vary a lot. It depends on you and what you want to do. This tends to be one of the nicer ribbons. It's got the whole diagonal diamond design with some sparkle in it, but it's a good ribbon. But ribbon, you can find ribbon anywhere from a couple bucks a roll to, you know, $10 or $15 a roll. When you get down here to the end, what you want to do is basically cut the ribbon straight across. And then what I like to do, and because of the wire it gets hung up just a bit, what I like to do is I like to bunch it up, make sure that the wire is okay, and then at this point I'm going to add several staples just to make sure that it all stays put. If you've got a little bit of ribbon left over from doing the columns, what we've done is we've made a custom bow, sort of like tying your shoes. And what we're going to do is we're going to add that to the center of our wreath. And the wreath is going to be then tied into all the rest of the design. And you can bring that through like that, secure that up, and your wreath is now completely decked out. So our ribbon is up, our canisters are decorated, we've got the wreath on the door, our halls are decked, and we're ready for holiday entertaining. Thanks for joining me. I'm Derek Thomas with Thomas Landscapes.